Quincy, Mayor Thomas Koch, for our weekly City Hall update. Mayor, how are you?
I'm well, looking out on the beautiful Hancock Adams Common.
Snow-covered now, Hancock Adams
Snow-covered.
Common, yes.
Absolutely. This is nothing, though, just a couple inches. We can deal with that.
We can, but we're not used to it this year.
No, we've had it easy so far, but I always say, no, don't jinx myself. So, I mean, the guys did a good job. I mean, we covered the routes, and, we had the salt out. And, I mean, it's kind of tricky, those kind of storms. There's not a lot of snow, but the freezing up and the icing afterwards is what the danger is,
Yes,
so
yeah.
we did a good job.
Definitely want to caution folks to use some extra care stepping out this morning. But it's going to be 50 degrees on Thursday, so.
I know it, exactly. Actually, it's supposed to be high 30s later today, so all that black ice should disappear.
Yes, which is great news. Well, this is the Lunar New Year and a big festival coming up in Quincy in a couple of weeks, so I know you want to extend your greetings to folks who celebrate.
Yes, indeed. Actually, we put a number of banners up through our business districts, wishing everybody a happy New Year, and it's in Chinese, it's in Vietnamese, in English, of course, and it's the Year of the Rabbit, Joe.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it's the Year of the Rabbit, and it's been the Year of the Rabbit for a few years now in Quincy because we've been loaded with wild rabbits.
Seems like wildlife in general is more prevalent these days.
It is, indeed, yeah.
Turkeys everywhere, and
yeah. Plenty of Canadian geese.
Yeah, watch out for those coyotes as well.
Indeed.
Can we talk a little bit, Mayor, about a recent purchase that the city made of some property on McGrath Highway?
Yes, sure. It abuts the Frank Bellotti Courthouse on the McGrath Highway side. It's a single-story building that was used for law offices. And what we saw during the pandemic, Joe, was a tremendous need for meeting space for AA meetings. And a lot of AA meetings were shut down or thrown out. I mean, people were making decisions at the time because they just didn't know what made sense for public health. So a lot of them never get back to spaces they have. And, AA meetings are very important for people in the program trying to stay away from alcohol and drugs. And so there's limited places around for it. This certainly is something that was justified under the ARPA money, so we felt it's wise. Now, down the road, this space may be needed for the new courthouse, but certainly in the meantime, it'll be used for meetings, and it's not a place for detox or treatment. It's purely a place for meetings, and we'll be working with probably the Gavin Foundation and others to handle the booking of it. I know there's meetings of different sizes, of different nights of the week, different times of the day. So this place will be available, 12, 15 hours a day just for meetings for people to help them with their challenges in life. So I think it's a good use.
Will that be the only thing happening in that building is meetings like that?
That's correct. Yep. It's not a big building. And I want to thank Peter Thompson. Peter Thompson has been tremendous in his support of programs in our schools, and he's committed to helping me spend money each year towards the operating costs of his own money. Him and his wife, they're great people. Peter grew up in Quincy Point. They live in Braintree. They lost a kid to addiction, and they've put their resources into trying to help others to avoid the tragedy that happened to their child. So I'm grateful for their support on this as well.
Yeah, I was wondering about the Justice Center that had been proposed, and whether or not that would be part of that complex.
Yeah, the Justice Center issue, it's been talked about for years. Announcement was made last year. This building was actually under agreement with the state, and then they withdrew. So I'm not sure, and I think my planning team was meeting today with Senator Keenan and some folks from DCAM to try to figure out what was going on. I mean, quite frankly, in my opinion, they've been asleep at the switch, Joe, because there have been properties available over the last decade that are no longer available. So the courthouse replacement is probably going to have to happen right where it is, which means they're going to need more property around it, which I don't understand. They didn't take more property to do this. But, hopefully they'll figure it out and make sure that this courthouse is one of the busiest in the state, and it's not in the best of conditions and shape, so it does need to be replaced.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot of property left around there, really.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
That's correct, and it's very valuable. So it costs every day they wait, the more money it costs.
Yep. Across the street there, across the Dennis Ryan Parkway, the folks from LBC are still planning a development in the corner there on Revere Road?
The corner is kind of put on hold right now. The other corner is they're currently in the permitting for, which is the corner of Hancock Street and Hannon and Revere.
Yep.
It blends into McGrath. It's 3 street names within a few hundred feet there.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, the old that corner up above where the Sportlight used to be, which is now Patty Barry's Napoli Pizza, that corner, that block is being permitted as we speak by the planning department, and that will be retail on the first floor with apartments above. Which was always envisioned on that side. Yep. The other lot is still that will be used for the laydown area for this project, and then we'll see what happens there. We've kind of put a hold on that, not knowing what's going to happen with the courthouse.
I see. Okay, and there are also some improvements planned for the intersection with McConville Way. Isn't that right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. If folks come in from Bergen Parkway, whether people coming home or people coming to our city in the morning or later in the day, that when they take you right on to go over the Paul Howard Bridge on Hannon Parkway there, the light is right there on the parking way, and everything backs up and queues back up on Bergen Parkway and becomes a real problem. So moving the intersection up at McConville then allows us to take a right and continue to take a right on the parking way without a stoplight, which will allow for greater movement and traffic in that area. So we think it makes more sense. This was always kind of the master plan, and it certainly will help ease that congestion at that intersection as well.
Yeah, there's only room for about 5 cars in the queue right now on the bridge.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a problem.
How are plans from Foxrock coming for the old Ross garage site?
Still working with them.
Okay.
And what's tricky is they're working with potential tenants, including the medical area, and they're going to bang that lease out before they can move on the project itself. But we're still bullish on the project.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit, Mayor, about some new developments with the Adams Academy building and the trust funds and some decisions that were recently made in Superior Court?
Yes, so this goes back, for folks that may not recall, but the Adams Temple School Fund, trust funds that were left years ago by the will of John Adams, and he willed for the Church of the Presidents that to be built. I mean, he paid for the stone for that. He paid for the construction of the Adams Academy, and he had money in there to help with the Adams Academy. When the Adams Academy closed around the turn of the century, that money then was put towards Quincy Public Schools for the classicals, Greek and Latin, etc. And what happened was the Woodward School in the 1940s was in bad shape financially. So the city fathers at the time said, you know what, that $10,000 or $15,000 in trust funds would mean a lot more to Woodward School than it would mean to the multi-million-dollar public schools budget. So in the 40s, that was done and sanctioned by the courts. And then, ironically enough, Woodward School sued the city back under my predecessor, Mayor Phelan, and they were successful in court, claiming that the trust funds should have been better. They should have invested better 10, 50, 75 years ago, which is bizarre to me. Having said that, the last piece, and the city paid a settlement on that ruling at the local court, and then Woodward School, not satisfied with their money grab here, continued to push and basically claiming the Adams Academy should be theirs as well. Which I really, really have a problem with ethically as well as legally. So what came down to it is the city claimed, look, we own the land. We have a deed for that land. John Adams never mentioned the Woodward School. John Adams left everything to the inhabitants of Quincy. He was very clear about that, Joe. So, what was a nice, good faith gesture years ago really come back to haunt the city with the what I think was the greed of the board at Woodward School. And so now the Superior Court has ruled against the city, claiming that the land in the building are part of the trust fund, which we are appealing. Again, at the end of the day, John Adams never mentioned Woodward School in his will. It was all about the inhabitants of Quincy. And in fact, I would suggest most of Woodward School kids don't even live in Quincy, if you want to take that argument. So disappointing, but we are going to appeal it. And I can tell you, certainly as long as I'm mayor, that Adams Academy will continue to be there as a resource for the city, not for Woodward School.
Now, as I recall, a couple of years ago, City Council approved taking of that property by eminent domain.
That's part of the equation as we speak.
Okay.
Yep.
So did Woodward appeal that eminent domain claim? Is that what happened?
Well, there were several things going on at the same time, Joe.
Okay.
So you had the eminent domain issue, but you had them also claiming the ownership of it, going back to the trust. Therefore, what's the value? We were arguing that the land is not part of the value because the city owns it. We have a deed for it. But this latest ruling says no. The trust fund owned the land and the building, which we're appealing because that has a great difference on the value. Whether we take it by eminent domain or not, that ruling is crucial on what the value is.
Yep. Okay.
That's the issue right now.
How long do you think this is going to go on, Mayor?
Gosh, I don't know. I hope not too long. We can get it resolved soon.
Because there are plans for the Adams Presidential Center next door there, right?
That's correct. Yep. We continue to work hard on that with a great board, founding board, and we got a lot of work to do on that, but we're making good progress.
Finally, Mayor, can we talk a little bit about some plans to install some solar panels in some city property across Quincy?
Yeah, it's kind of a renewal, Joe. We did this a number of years ago, solar panels on a number of buildings, but under the law, the time runs out. You have to do certain things on how we, whether it's RFPs or straight bids or how the purchasing's done and values and so forth. So it's kind of renewing those things. There may be a couple of other buildings that will be added to it that perhaps didn't get the solar panels originally, but it's all good stuff. That's a good use of buildings, especially the roofs. So I mean, it's tricky when you have major snow events. We heard that trying to clear the buildings off when you get very heavy snow. When you're concerned about the structure itself. But other than that, it's been a good program, and the energy goes into the grid, and we certainly get credit for that as a city. So it's all good.
Okay. I want to wish you a belated happy birthday, Mayor.
Well, thank you very much, Joe. It's we don't talk about it when you reach this age.
Like I always say, after 30, it's all the same.
3 of my 4 sisters took me out for brunch on Saturday morning. I want to thank them for that. But we had a nice low-key weekend.
Very nice.
And I emphasize low-key.
And a week from today will be State of the City, so we'll talk to you before then.
Sounds good.
Have a great day, Mayor.
You too, Joe.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.